So, our theme for today, I want to talk a little bit about the spine and about how the spine connects with the subtle energy body. So we've talked a lot about energy. We've talked a lot about energetic flow, called prana in yogic philosophy. And I want to talk about the physiology of the spine. So we're going to move the spine today in our active meditation. And the spine is something that I really love learning about because it is the home, the spine and the brain that it's connected to is the home for our central nervous system. It controls all of our bodily functions, our movement, our organs, our hormones. And so oftentimes we find that pain in other areas of the body, hormone imbalance, organ dysfunction can be linked to issues with the spine. So it's really, really important to move the spine every day if you can. So we'll be doing that with some Kundalini exercises. So Kundalini is a form of yoga that was brought to the West in the 60s by Yogi Bhajan. And Kundalini is all about this spiraling action from the root chakra at the pelvic floor all the way up to the crown chakra, and it's supposed to represent the path from birth to self-actualization, and it travels up the central axis, which is called the sushumna nadi. So a nadi is a pathway for prana. Like blood flows through veins, prana, this energetic life force, flows through nadis. It's been said that we have about 72,000 nadis in our body, but the central sushumna nadi runs up the central axis of the body, and so a great reference point for the sushumna nadi is the spine. So moving the spine can help us access prana flowing through the sushumna nadi from the root all the way up through the crown. So that's what we'll be doing when we move the spine. This is all subtle energy science. There is a science to subtle energy. Not everybody believes in it. Sometimes it is also known as quantum physics. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not going to go into that any more than what I just said, because that's like a whole rabbit hole that we can go down. It's very interesting. If you ever want to talk about it more, you have my email. But yeah, that's it. Let's get right into it. So we'll be working with the spine. We'll be working with this central axis of the nadis, the sushumna nadi, and we'll be working with the subtle energy of the body. So find a comfortable seat. We'll be in a seated position for a while. I'll suggest sitting cross-legged if that's not comfortable. You can sit in a chair. You can sit on your knees. You can sit up on a block or a bolster or cushions. I myself am sitting on a block. I always like to elevate my hips a little bit higher because I feel like I have more space in the spine. And when you've got space in the spine, you have space for your nerves. And that's really, really important. So finding that comfortable, tall seat, and I'll invite you to wiggle around a little bit, wiggle your hips a little bit to feel your sit bones root into whatever it is that you're sitting on. And then find an easy anchor spot for your hands. So I'll suggest in your lap, palms facing down or up, whatever feels good to you. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down away from your ears. And I'll invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. If it's not, you can take a gentle gaze downward. And just start to connect with the breath, allowing the breath to flow freely in and out of the nose. Relax the muscles in the face, the jaw, the teeth, the tongue, the eyebrow center. And just notice where you might be holding tension in the body. Notice what feels unsettled, or maybe notice what feels settled without any sense of emotional attachment to whatever arises. It's just information. That's all it is. And then we'll just take 3 cleansing breaths together. So take a deep breath in through the nose and feel the body fill up with air. And then let the breath fall out of the mouth. Beautiful. 2 more times. Inhale through the nose and exhale out of the mouth. Last time, inhale through the nose and hold at the top of the inhale just for a moment. Take in an extra sip of air and exhale out of the mouth. When you're ready, gently blink your eyes open. And we will take Sufi grind. Sufi grind is a Kundalini exercise, and the way it works is isolating movement in the torso. So keeping the hips steady, keeping the sit bones grounded, you'll start to move your chest to the right, forward, to the left, and backward. So making circles with the torso, inhaling as you move the body forward, and exhaling as you move it backward. And you can just breathe in and out of the nose as you do this, but linking the movement with the breath. Inhale forward, exhale backward. And if you want, you can start small and then gradually make the movements bigger. That's always a nice way, first of all, to get physically into the spine, but also it's sort of like this metaphor, moving from subtle, moving from micro to macro, from small to big, from the subtle to the infinite, and sort of this idea of from the root all the way up to the crown. It's this sense of expansion, of elevation. And if you're comfortable with this, you can close your eyes even and sense into the inner feeling of the spine moving. And wherever tension arises, just notice it, send some extra breath there. All right, this is going to be different for everyone. And eventually, switch directions. So chest moving left, forward, right, and backward. And again, you can start small and gradually make the movements bigger. Or maybe you want to do the opposite, start with bigger movements and grow into smaller movements, from like gross to subtle. Closing your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. I always like closing the eyes because it helps me sense inward, right? So when we're looking at the subtle energy of the body, we're looking inward. And that's also part of the yogic path. It's part of the 8 limbs. Pratyahara is this sense withdrawal, going inward, so that we can notice the things that we don't notice on an everyday basis, beyond the physical. But we notice the physical to help us get there. Inhaling forward, exhaling back, continuing with this movement. Of course, you decide the pace at which you want your body to go, right? If you want these circles to be faster, make them faster. If you want them to be slower, make them slower. Still keeping your sit bones as grounded as possible. Subtle engagement of the pelvic floor. Good. And then slowly start to let that movement go. If your eyes were closed, you can gently blink them open, finding stillness. So that was circular movement of the spine that involved some flexion and extension of the spine, lateral flexion and extension of the spine, moving the spine in all different ways. The other way that we move the spine is through twisting. Twisting can kind of feel like you're wringing out toxins from your organs and from your spine. It's like this wringing action. So people often associate twists with a really detoxifying benefit. I like to associate it that way. So for this twist, we'll move with the breath. I will invite you to place your fingertips on your shoulders, thumbs in back, the rest of your fingers in front, elbows about in line with your shoulders. And so with the twist will be semi-forceful inhales and exhales out of the nose. So audible inhales and exhales out of the nose. So what you'll do is you'll inhale as you twist to the left, exhale as you twist to the right. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And let your head go with it. And you can decide again how fast or how slow you want to do this. So obviously if you go quicker, the twist will feel a little bit more intense. If your spine is really static and really stiff and there's a lot of tension, moving slowly with slower breaths can be really nice and feel really nourishing. So you decide the pace at which you want to go. Try to keep your elbows at about shoulder length or shoulder height. You can let your head go with it. If it's comfortable for you, close your eyes. And again, sense into this withdrawal of the senses so that we can move into a more inward way of observing. Keep going. Wherever there's tension, just notice it. See if you can detach any emotions from it. Whatever arises, all it is information. You get to decide how you let that information affect you. We'll do 5 more on each side. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. When you've finished, just gently place your hands in your lap, letting go of this movement. And take a moment here in stillness, noticing what has shifted for you, noticing any tingly sensations you might have from moving with the breath, noticing how the spine feels now as opposed to when we started, noticing how the joints feel. Because when we move any joint, what we are doing is we are inviting a flow of synovial fluid within the joint, which helps lubricate the joint, which makes movement of the joint a lot easier. And so that's why it's so important to move, and also a lot of other reasons. Notice the quality of your breath, right? Notice the sensation of the beating of the heart. And see if you can, maybe with your eyes closed, tap into the residual flow of prana that you've created through these meditations, through these meditative movements. All right, this is very, very subtle energy. So it may not feel like a physical sensation, or it might. There's not necessarily a right or a wrong way to notice prana. It's a practice that you develop. Let's take one cleansing breath in through the nose and let it fall out of the mouth. Give your fingers and toes a little bit of a wiggle. Open your eyes gently and return back to this space. So from here, we will shift into our Yoga Nidra practice. So finding a comfortable lying down position, either on your back, on your side, or prone on your stomach, whatever feels the most comfortable for you, right? So our goal here is to take as much time as we need to set ourselves up for being able to settle into total ease, total comfort, total stillness. And the more comfortable you are, the easier it's going to be still and to settle into the earth. So whether that's placing props underneath your knees, covering yourself with a blanket, or making sure that you're warm enough as the body temperature does tend to drop during Yoga Nidra. Doing whatever it is you need to do and making those final adjustments necessary in order to help you settle. And once you've found a position that feels really good, really cozy, I'll invite you to close your eyes and tune into the breath, in and out of the nose. No need to control it. With every inhale, inviting a sense of welcoming yourself into this practice, and with every exhale, a sense of settling down into the earth, releasing the tension of the muscles as best as you can, releasing tension in the jaw, the cheeks, the forehead, a sense of melting into whatever it is that is underneath you, supporting you. Feeling the whole weight of the body totally held, totally supported. And knowing that there isn't any right way to do this. There isn't any wrong way to do this. There isn't anything to do. Just to be here in this moment, in the space of awareness that is Yoga Nidra. Continuing to use the breath to settle down into the earth, into this practice. And knowing, of course, that if the need for the body to move arises, that you are free to notice it, see if it passes after a moment, and knowing also that you are free to move, to honor that movement, honor that need to move, and make any adjustments necessary so you can settle that much deeper into total comfort, ease, and stillness. And in this space of awareness that is Yoga Nidra, knowing that there is no need to pay attention or to focus during the moments in which you hear my voice and during the moments in which there is silence. Knowing that the practice is still here for you. If you float away, you can come right back to the breath. But knowing also that there is no obligation to pay attention. And on the next exhale, we shift our inner awareness down into the heart space. Allowing ourselves to rest here. And in resting in the heart space, noticing if anything along the lines of a sankalpa, an intention, a heart's prayer, a heart's desire arises. And if so, honoring and nourishing that sankalpa with the breath, planting it like a seed into the heart space. And knowing also that the absence of desire can also be nourished here, the nirvikalpa. And during this practice of Yoga Nidra in the space of awareness, you may also invite in a sankalpa, an intention of expansion beyond doing into being. Resting in the heart space as a way of transcending the need to do anything and just being. And from this inner awareness resting at the heart space, we can allow it to move around the body as if the inner witness consciousness within us could shine a light on each part of the body that it visits, knowing that no external movement is needed as we rotate the inner consciousness around the body. And on the next inhale, moving the awareness from the heart up to the eyebrow center, space between the eyebrows. Awareness resting there, inner consciousness shining a light on the eyebrow center. And then moving to the nose, lips, chin, and the base of the throat between the collarbones. Awareness resting in the right shoulder, right elbow, right wrist, and to the tips of the fingers of the right hand, thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger. Moving back up the inside of the right wrist, elbow, shoulder, resting in the center of the base of the throat between the collarbones, and traveling over to the left shoulder, left elbow, left wrist, tips of the left hand, thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky finger. Inside of the left wrist, elbow, and shoulder. Inner awareness, the light of inner awareness shining between the collarbones and down into the heart center, the center of the chest. Moving over to the right side of the chest, back to the center, to the left side of the chest, center of the chest. Awareness traveling to the navel center, the center of the pelvis, and over to the right hip, right knee, right ankle, and the tips of the toes of the right foot, big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. Back of right ankle, back of the right knee, inner hip, center of the pelvis, and over to the left hip, left knee, left ankle, and the tips of the left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. Back of left ankle, back of knee, inside of the left hip, center of the pelvis, navel center, heart center, base of the throat between the collarbones, third eye center between the eyebrows, and the crown of the head, the very top of the head. The whole body now. The whole body illuminated by this light of inner awareness, resting in the space of awareness that is Yoga Nidra. And on the exhale, settling the awareness once again down to the center of the pelvis at the very bottom, the pelvic floor. This is the root chakra. The color is red. And as we breathe in this space of awareness at the root chakra, we invite the affirmation, I am. On the next inhale, moving up to the pubic bone, the sacral chakra, envisioning the color orange, and inviting the affirmation, I feel. Moving up just below the navel to the solar plexus, just below the navel, envisioning the color yellow, and inviting the affirmation, I act. On the next inhale, moving up to the heart center, the heart chakra, envisioning the color green, and inviting the affirmation, I love. On the next inhale, awareness floats to the base of the throat, between the collarbones, the throat chakra. We envision the color blue. And we invite the affirmation, I speak. On the next inhale, moving up, awareness in the center of the eyebrows. Eyebrow center, the third eye. The color we envision is indigo. And we invite the affirmation, I see. And finally, on the next inhale, moving our awareness up to the top of the head, the crown chakra, envisioning the color violet, and inviting the affirmation, I understand. And gently letting go of that exploration. Bringing the awareness back to the breath. And on the exhale, settling into everything that is deeply subtle, the smallest of the small. And on the inhale, breathing in to expand your awareness, expand your consciousness into the infinite. Exhaling into that which is more tangible, that which is small within, and inhaling into a sense of expansiveness, of transcendence into the infinite. On the exhale, moving the awareness into that which is the most subtle within the body, within the energy. And on the inhale, moving the awareness outward, beyond into that which is infinite. And exploring between the subtle and the infinite on the out breath and on the in breath. And on the next few breaths, can you expand your consciousness to include everything that is both the subtle and the infinite at the same time? Knowing that you are safe and that you are capable of holding all that is the subtle and the infinite in this vessel your soul currently inhabits. And on the out breath, allowing for that exploration to gently evaporate, allowing it to move out of you and away, letting go, and returning back to the breath, returning back to the physical sensation of the breath, and using the exhale to settle right back down into the very heart's core, the center of the heart, where perhaps you revisit the sankalpa seed you planted, that intention, that heart's prayer, that heart's desire, or the absence of all of those things, nourished by the practice of being in the space of awareness that is Yoga Nidra. And continuing to stay with the breath, now moving into the more physical sensations of the breath. Feeling the breath enter the body and leave the body in and out of the nostrils. And feeling into the physical sensations of the body against whatever it is that is supporting you at this time. Feeling the physical sensation of the body being held by the earth underneath. Sensing into the feeling of the air around you on your skin. Sensing into the sounds you hear. And knowing that you may stay here for as long as you'd like, or begin to invite small movements in the body, moving in the fingers and the toes, the wrists, the ankles, making any other movements or adjustments to help us return to a more everyday state of awareness. From the state of awareness that is Yoga Nidra to the state of awareness that we inhabit on a day-to-day basis. And knowing that you can stay lying down for as long as you'd like, or if you are ready, perhaps keeping the eyes closed, shifting onto your side and up to a comfortable seat. Taking as much time as you need to make this shift. Sensing into the body, the physical sensations around you and in you. And if in this seat you feel called to bring your hands together in Anjali Mudra at your heart, or one on top of the other, you may do so. Perhaps feeling the physical sensation of the heartbeat against the palms or against the thumbs. And one more clearing breath all together in through the nose and allowing it to fall out of the mouth. Good, one more. Inhale through the nose deeply. And this time an audible sigh. Gently bowing your chin in towards your chest in gratitude for yourself for showing up for this radical practice of activation and of restfulness. To all of you, I say the light in me sees and loves the light in you. This practice of Yoga Nidra is complete. Hare Om Tat Sat and Namaste.